Am I overreacting? Okay, that's a bad question. I react to a lot of stuff, and I overreact to even more things, but I think the better question here is, are Montreal Canadiens fans overreacting? Because today what I wanted to do was take a look at a recent piece on The Athletic. If you've been paying attention to the way these articles written out by Corey Pronman have been coming out, you would have seen that over the past few days, Pronman has been revealing his list of the top prospect pools in the NHL. And for every team, he publishes an individual article with the list of players that are included. And the Montreal Canadiens article came out about a week ago, saying how they rank 6th overall in the NHL for pipeline rankings in 2024. You can already see that there are 213 comments on the Athletic article itself. Now, of course, the Athletic is paid for material. This is going to be behind a paywall, so I'm going to leave a link in the description if you want to read it, and of course, you can only read it if you have the subscription. But the reason we are talking about Montreal prospects and whether or not Habs fans are overreacting is because of the assessment that was given out to the 5th overall name on the Montreal Canadiens prospect pool. It is Lane Hutson. Now, I get it. You can say, hey, wait a minute, Lane Hutson is only ranked as the 5th best Montreal Canadiens young dude in the system? I feel like that's kind of cap, and that's a fair assessment. You could totally rank him higher. You could have him in the top 3. You could have him as number 2 behind Ivan Demidov. It's all fair, in my opinion. These are all good prospects, after all. But the Montreal Canadiens fanbase is kind of set ablaze with the assessment that was given out to Lane Hutson. Now, I feel not really too guilty in screenshotting this tweet made by Neville, because it is the actual analysis given out to Lane Hutson, but because Twitter is a public platform and because this tweet was posted on Twitter and it did garner a bunch of attraction, let's just go out there and read what Neville posted. Here are the Lane Hutson grades as given out by Corey Pronman. NHL average puck skills is delirious. Proof in the comments. Lane Hutson's assessment by Corey Pronman of The Athletic reads, he is a middle-of-the-lineup player who has above NHL average skating, NHL average puck skills, high-end hockey sense, NHL average compete level, and an above NHL average shot. The thing is, a lot of Canadiens fans seem to be super strung up about that puck skills ranking, NHL average for Lane Hutson. In fact, Habs on Reddit went out there and said, hey, we were pretty perplexed to see that Corey Pronman called Lane Hutson's puck skills average in his latest article. This is Hutson's 2nd NHL career game as a 20-year-old rookie. And included is a video clip of Lane Hutson dangling the pants off a bench shot and stopping it up on the boards. This is from the end of the season against Detroit, one of those crazy games that absolutely lit the roof up on fire. But Lane Hutson was absolute dynamite in this individual clip, and you had a lot of other clips also posted around saying, oh yeah, this is an NHL average puck skills guy. Really? Huh? Incredible. And this is why I ask, are Habs fans overreacting to this? In fact, there is maybe even some room for conspiracy. You had Alex who replied saying this, I feel like the rent was due, and Corey Pronman needed some easy clicks because that whole ranking is terrible, LMAO. There also was another reply going out there and maybe defending the assessment. Corey Pronman says that average on his scale means the tool projects him as NHL average, which is meant as a positive, not necessarily criticism. And then there's another reply saying if Hutson's puck skills are average, then I'm watching the wrong league. You see, I wanted to give Pronman the benefit of the doubt here, like, kind of come at this from the perspective saying, oh, what are the guys right now? Is Lane Hutson's puck skills in the NHL, at this very moment in time, average, quote-unquote? Or is this taking a look at a more holistic view of the prospect and their ceilings? Because honestly, no matter which way you slice the cake, I feel like Lane Hutson calling him average in any sense of that word for puck skills is just wrong. Like, I tried to come up with some sort of justification for why Pronman could have given this ranking out to Hutson, but I can't really find one. There isn't really anything average about the way this guy is able to dangle around guys, and when you combine his average puck skills with his otherworldly NHL skating ability. I mean, it says above NHL average, so maybe even that's a little bit underrated. High-end hockey sense. I feel like those top 3 categories all should be like above NHL average, if not high-end. And so when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, maybe it is not really an overreaction to respond negatively to Corey Pronman's assessment here. Now, if you wanted just the scoop and you wanted to see what else is written out about in this article, the number 1 to 4 names that are listed out on Pronman's player rankings are Juraj Slafkovsky number 1, Ivan Demidov number 2, Cayden number 3, and then David Reinbacher number 4. Lane Hutson is ranked number 5 underneath all of those guys. Each of these players have their own assessments and their own rankings of above NHL average or NHL average stuff, you know, shot, compete level, hockey sense, etc., etc. And it's only really Ivan Demidov, I'd say, that has any sort of an elite ranking anywhere. I mean, there are other players that have high-end, like, compete and other skills, etc. Lane Hutson, of course, has the high-end hockey sense, but to reserve that elite label for any of these guys, especially for Lane Hutson's, let's say, puck skills and mobility, it does feel kinda wrong, in my opinion. So, I don't know. The big question here is, did Lane Hutson get disrespected? Or is this just Corey Pronman going out there and doing the Corey Pronman, writing articles with the purpose of getting clicks, engagement, and comments on it? I mean, the Montreal Canadiens article got 200 plus comments on The Athletic. I rarely see articles get that many replies just individually. And on social media, you're having so many Canadiens fans going out there and debating this. Michael went out there and said this, that Corey Pronman might have had the worst take I've ever seen with this. I don't think there's a single defenseman in the league with his puck skills as we speak. And okay, Michael, I get it, you're a Canadiens fan, but, I'm not going to go out there and say that that's 100% believable. I'd say that Cale Makar, Adam Fox, and Quinn Hughes, maybe even to an extent Erik Karlsson, all have puck skills that are better than Lane Hutson's at the moment. And that's not even me being a super biased Canucks fan saying that. Don't get me wrong, I am a super biased Canucks fan, but I'm not going to use that as a main argument here. Yeah, Lane Hutson's very good, but saying that there are no players in the NHL, no defensemen in the NHL that could rival his puck skills at the moment, I do think that's a little bit far-fetched. Either way, though, you could kind of understand the sentiment, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as to whether or not Lane Hutson got disrespected by the folks over on The Athletic by this ranking of his puck skills being NHL average. To Pronman's credit, he does give above NHL average skating and high-end hockey sense gradings to Hutson, but is that enough? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Of course, the full, undisclosed article will be also available in the description if you wanted to read more of that yourself. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comments as to Lane Hutson, his entire assessment here, and whether or not you think it's fair for The Athletic to label him as such. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.